Hey guys, it's SADISTIC here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Arakawa Under the Bridge by Hikaru Nakamura, who is the artist and writer. This was released in about 2004. Arakawa Under the Bridge was an anime that was aired probably about 8 years ago and has a really large fan base, but after watching the anime I was inclined to actually read the first 2 volumes of the beloved series. This series follows a young man, Kao, whose life model is to never owe anyone anything, who suddenly owes a homeless girl, Nino, who claims to be Venusian, everything. She asks only the Cow, who is later named Rek, short for recruit, to show her what love actually is. Nino lives near a river and under a bridge inside of a community and a band of crazy characters. This manga holds elements of comedy as well as those coming-of-age themes and slice-of-life bits that we've all come to know and love from that type of genre. After reading the first few volumes, I had a few things I loved, and I ultimately had a few things that I didn't. One of the things that I actually admired about this series was the fact that the author put her own dreams into the art, and it actually shows. Hikaru put notations in the book itself explaining that she always loved the river and wanted to live nearby it and nearby the bridges. She puts her own dreams and whimsical ideals into the story and all of the art. The few color spreads in it were done with a watercolor feel, which made them look a little bit washed out, but these details were what made the anime what it was. The only thing I found interesting about this was that the manga was the crazy band of characters that were introduced. Sure, the relationship part between Nino and Rek is the main idea, but all of the other characters were what kept me actually reading, when I otherwise probably would have put it down. Characters like a gun enthusiastic male nun, the mayor of the community who is a man who thinks he's a kappa and dresses as such, and a man who can only walk on a white line. And then there's also a guy who thinks he's a star. Like a literal star. The most fun character that I encountered was Stella, who is only a child but holds the mindset of a mafioso boss. All of these characters provided the comedic value for the book when they all interacted. This did put the romance part of the story on the back burner, which honestly I found was one of the main issues of this book. The love story really wasn't in the forefront of the manga and was overshadowed by the other characters, mostly because the story between Nino and Rek was actually way too predictable. The other comedic characters made this manga fun and a blast to read at some points, but the love story was not attractive enough to hold my attention. Which leads me into my other issue, and that was that this story was way too predictable from the beginning. And what I often find in these slice-of-life mangas is that the story is way too predictable. Even though it wasn't categorized as a slice of life, I kind of found it that it actually was in that category. The story goes as such: boy with strange attitude meets aloof girl, introduces rival girl for girl's attention, a combination of good friends and trying to find oneself, and you've got a romance in a slice-of-life formula that made the story overall boring. Hikaru could have just taken the supporting characters and made something so entertaining out of her community of crazy homeless bridge dwellers rather than involving any romance at all. Overall, if I had to rate this manga, I'd probably give it a C, or maybe like a 5 out of 10. It held my interest only in bits and pieces, and although the art was lovely and the crazy supporting characters were fun, the story was kind of boring and the romance took a backseat to all those other crazy characters. So it wasn't too good and it wasn't too bad either. The manga made the anime what it was, but at the same time, I could have done without a lot of pieces of it. So, if you guys are interested in reading the manga, I would suggest maybe giving it a try. If it's for you. If slice of life is definitely something you like, then this is definitely the novel for you. It wasn't so much for me. But the anime, definitely worth watching, especially if you're like on a rainy afternoon and you're just hanging out at your house. But as far as the manga is concerned, it's kind of an eh. Anyway, if you enjoyed this review, like us, link us, comment on us, and until next time, don't do anything that I wouldn't do.